Get ready for the dictation. Start. I am glad that the government is thinking in terms of the small growers. By all means, give them representation, but let not an attempt be made as though the bigger growers are not looking after the interests of the small growers, because that is far from the truth. If the coffee board has achieved one grand result, it is to rehabilitate and help the small growers. So far as the question of payment from the pool is concerned, the small grower gets the full amount due according to the costing the moment he delivers the coffee. There is a separate method of costing and the whole amount is paid immediately, whereas in the case of the bigger growers it is not so. Payments are made as and when coffee is sold in the market and abroad. Supposing this aid was not there for the small grower, what would have happened? He would have had to make distress sales. He would have had to take whatever the market was able to offer, and he would not have had the benefit of export prices, which rule as much as 100% over and above the home prices. The price of coffee abroad is twice as much as it is in India. The small grower would not have had the ghost of a chance of getting higher prices by the sale of coffee to foreign countries. Not only that, he also gets his basic price immediately on delivery of the coffee to the pool. Over and above all this, he gets the benefit of all the scientific research which he would not have otherwise got. He gets all the aid from the bigger growers because, as my honorable friend said yesterday, it is to the advantage of the bigger planters to help the smaller ones. There is a disease which is communicable and which can destroy the neighboring estates. So, in these multifarious ways, the small growers are today helped, and they are immensely thankful to the bigger growers and to the coffee board. Now a special plea is sought to be entered on behalf of the small growers. What I say is that we can have representation for small growers on the board. That is perfectly right, but let there be no suggestion whatever to the effect that the cause of the small growers was neglected. That is not correct. As regards financial aid, that is a state problem, that is a union problem, and that is a problem for the whole of the country in respect of all developmental activities. One thing I must say, and that is that there are obvious limitations for the small growers. The acreage is limited and they cannot spread beyond that. They have got their paddy fields and their plantain gardens, and so due to limitations they cannot spread over. Any development of coffee means a large acreage, and that is not available to small growers. Even if they have got the capacity, it is very difficult for them to find forest lands nearby. It is not easily possible for any man to go over 50 miles and then take up a jungle. So, the small growers have their own limitations. I am not going into that, but what I do say is that this idea introduced for the first time here in the Parliament, that the interests of the small growers have got to be specially protected, is, I submit, a policy which will create a difference between the bigger grower and the small grower. I submit that there is no reason whatsoever to distrust the plantation industry and deny them the right to select their own representatives and to introduce the word nomination here. Why should we have nomination? If there is need for separate representation for the small growers, why should we not reserve a seat in each place for the small grower? That is the easiest and the best way to give representation to the small growers. This can easily be done, and therefore I submit that the words "or" nominated may kindly be deleted from the bill. I do not know whether the procedure would permit of it, because there are certain difficulties, but in any case, if at least we get an assurance from my friend that these 12 are going to be elected, it would be something gained for a poor like me and for the industry. After the question of constitution of the board comes the question about the chairman. On that question, I hope, sir, that the House will kindly appreciate that for more than one reason it would not be the best arrangement to have a whole-time appointed chairman. There are two suggestions in this connection. My honorable friend's suggestion is that it must be an elected office, as hitherto he has also said that out of the 13 years only, for 1.5 years has there been a planter as chairman, otherwise the post was always held by an officer.